Dear students, good morning. Today I am taking the same lesson which you have taken earlier, chemistry in everyday life. Some more important chemicals are needed in our day-to-day life and we have to know about them. These other chemicals are, one is food preservatives which are needed for preservation of foods and pickle, so many other items. Another topic is artificial sweetening agents. They are also needed to dress up the food and to improve the quality. And another is most important, cleansing agent. Let us take one by one. The first one is food preservatives. Food preservatives. Those chemicals which are added to the food for their betterment, against the spoilage, and to maintain the nutritive values for a long time. These chemicals are food preservatives. At home we are using so many common food preservatives such as salt, oil, spices, sugar, vinegar, etc. Sometimes we add extra salt over the food items, that is called salting, and it is going to preserve the food for a longer time. How it works? Actually, salt is one of the hygroscopic agent. It removes unwanted water present in the food items. For example, when we prepare pickles, first we cut into small pieces and some extra salt is spread over the surface and it is kept in sunlight. It removes moisture present in the mango and that water vaporizes out. In this way, up to some extent, we are able to control the moisture content in the food. Some chemicals which are using as a preservatives, the one chemical is sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate, that chemical is C6H5COON. Sodium benzoate is also one of the most common food preservative and it is also available in the market and the grocery shops. This sodium benzoate, it comes out from the body in the form of hippuric acid without any decay or decomposition. That's why it is not going to metabolize in our body. The other chemical is sodium or potassium metabisulfite. That is Na2S2O5. Sodium metabisulfite is used for preservative, as a preservative for squash, jam, such type of packed food items. Actually, in the meanwhile, when it is mixed with the food, slowly it is going to decompose and releasing sulfur dioxide. The reaction is like this. It is sulfide plus SO2. This SO2 sulfur dioxide is one of the very good germicide. It kills the germs. Therefore, it accumulates on the upper surface where the empty space present and kills the microbes which is coming from outside or present inside on the surface. That's why it is also one of the good preservative. Some other chemicals like one chemical is butylated hydroxytoluene. It is abbreviated as BHT, and another is butylated hydroxy any salt, abbreviated as DHA. These are the two important chemicals which are used as preservative for oil or oil containing food. It stops oxidation of food, that's why it is also known as antioxidant. Even it is mixed with the oil for its preservation, and it stops the rancidity. Rancidity is not done in presence of these chemicals. That's why it is one of the very good food preservative. These are the main food preservatives which we are using in day-to-day life. The another chemical, class of chemical, type of chemical is artificial sweeteners. The second type is artificial sweeteners or sweetening agent. We are knowing some persons, they are suffering from diabetic. They also need sweet items. They also habitual to take the sweet food, and sucrose cannot be given directly to them. Therefore, we are using some synthetic chemicals which are sweet to ingest but not giving any calorie to the body. They are the artificial sweeteners. The oldest example is saccharine. Saccharine is one of the oldest artificial sweeteners, and it is near about 550 times sweeter than normal sucrose. That's why while using this, we have to take care. And chemically, it is like this. This formula is an organic compound, and here it is Brooks present. This type of amide present in that compound, and if we go for its sodium salt, that is more better than saccharine. Sodium salt of saccharine is better than the pure saccharine. That is also used. The another example is aspartame. Aspartame is another artificial sweetener. It is near about 180 times sweeter than sucrose. And the disadvantage of this is it is not going to stable at cooking temperature. Therefore, it is used only in cold drinks. That is aspartame. This is saccharine. This is the formula of saccharine, not aspartame. Another is sucralose. Sucralose is the another sweetening agent, and it is near about 650 times sweeter than sucrose. And the advantage of this sweetening agent is it is stable at cooking temperature. Therefore, it can be used in cooking food items and provide sweet taste to them. Elitane is another sweetening agent. Elitane, which is much sweeter as compared to these all sweeteners, and its sweetening property is near about 2000 times sweeter than the normal sucrose, cane sugar, and it is difficult to control the sweetness of this sweetening agent. That's why we have to use carefully while using this elitane. So these are the artificial sweeteners and used to provide sweet taste to the food items, but they are not providing any calorie to the food. That is the advantage. But when it is needed, then only we have to use. We should not use in our day-to-day life for normal person. The third type of cleansing agent, third type of chemical is a cleansing agent. Without such chemicals, we cannot survive. For our betterment, cleansing agents are also needed to wash the hand, to wash ourselves, to wash the cloth and belongings. Cleansing agents are needed. Cleansing agents. These agents are two types. The one is the soap, another is synthetic detergents. Soap is, first type is soap. Soap is a sodium or potassium salt of fatty acids. Fatty acids like C17, X35, COOH, stearic acid, and there is a C17, H33, COOH, oleic acid, palmitic acid is also another one, C15, H31, COOH, palmitic acid. These are some examples of fatty acids. They are sodium salt like C17, H35, COONE is an example of soap. If someone asks, give the name of soap, being a chemistry student, you are expected to answer that it is the sodium salt of stearic acid, sodium stearate, sodium palmitate, sodium oleate. These are some chemical name of soaps. While preparing, we take oil or fat as a raw material. It is treated with sodium hydroxide solution and we get soap and glycerol. That's why oil and soaps are triglycerides. They are called triglyceride, and its formula may be written as CH2, CH, CH2, here is O, CO, C17, H35, and here is O, CO, C17, H35. I have taken a simple oil and oil, C17, H35. This is the triester of that first one, stearic acid. When it is treated with the NaOH, sodium hydroxide, NaOH, this is going to hydrolyze and it is broken into glycerol, CH2, CH, CH2, OH here. Here is OH plus soap. The soap is C17, H35, COONA, sodium stearate. This is a type of soap. In this way, we can take potassium hydroxide for preparation of this soap. This soap, sodium salt and potassium salt, what is the difference? The sodium salt is called hard soap, used for cleaning clothes, belongings, and potassium salt is used for toilets, making toilet soaps. That is the difference. That is called soft soap. While making hard and soft soap, we are using some other materials according to the needs. For their betterment, we add some colors, some perfumes to make the quality better. That is the main difference. What are the different type of soaps? Different type of soaps simply for the name's sake. There some chemicals are added, some additives are added to make the difference. Like medicated soap, they are mixing one chemical, bithionol. Bithionol is an antiseptic. It is mixed with the soap and it has germicidal effect. It kills the germs present on our body surface. That's why it is mixed with the normal toilet soap. Neem and some other natural extract are also added to make the soap better. That is called a medicated soap. Some soaps we have seen in the market which are transparent, and the reason is that the normal potassium salt of the fatty acid dissolve in ethanol and excess solvent is evaporated. Then we get transparent material and the excess of solvent is evaporated and we are getting the solid soap. So we get transparent soap. It is nothing else, only the solvent is different. And we are using soap in other forms like shaving cream. Shaving cream is potassium salt. Naturally it is potassium salt along with sodium salt also. And glycerol is added for the long lasting leather. Otherwise it becomes dry after some time. Some extra glycerol is mixed. And a gum rosin, it's sodium salt, sodium rosinate is added to give the rich leather. These are some special materials and specific things added to the soap and giving different types. These are the various types of soaps. Soaps are not useful for hard water. The reason, hard water contains calcium or magnesium salt. This calcium and magnesium salt combines with the soap and form insoluble material like C17, S35, COONA. Hard water contains magnesium ion, dissolved magnesium ion and calcium ion. This combined with magnesium and calcium ion to form insoluble material that is called scum, and that's why soap losing its cleansing property. Calcium is divalent, that's why it is like this, and here is Na, twice of this, and here is twice, and here is 2 positive ions. This compound is insoluble in water and it forms upper surface of the water and it is not going to involve in the froth formation. Soap is losing its foaming capacity and cleansing property. This is the one disadvantage of the soap. The second disadvantage is soap is not going to used in acidic water. The reason, when soap is mixed with acidic water, its hydrocarbon part, that carboxylic part overall, is going to change into carboxylic acid, fatty acid, and this fatty acid is going to stick on the fabrics and it is unable, we are unable to remove that. That's why it is not going to work in acidic medium. These are the two disadvantages of the soap. The one advantage we can say, it is biodegradable. That's why in longer run, it is not going to pollute our environment, water and environment, soil, etc. This is the one thing about soap. The another cleansing agent, that is the important one, is detergents, synthetic detergents. Detergents, they are not having any soap content, but they are working like soap. That's why they are known as soapless soap. Synthetic detergents. They are called soapless soap. Soapless soaps. What are detergents? They are not fatty acid contents. They are the sodium salt of high hydrocarbons. Carbon atoms more than maybe more than 12. Like an example is CH3, CH2. Whole 5, 6, whole 5. Here is a benzene ring, and here is SO3 and 12 carbon here, it is 11. 12 carbon here, and 12 carbon alkyl group is called dodecyl. They came for 10 and they came for 11, and 12 we call dodecane. It is dodecyl, sodium dodecyl benzene sulfonate. This is the chemical name of a simple detergent. And we can also go for dodecyl sulfate, sodium dodecyl sulfate, like C12 H23 CH23 SO4 Na. We can write OSO3 Na. This is the sodium dodecyl sulfate, another simple form of cleansing agent, synthetic detergents. So these are some formula of synthetic detergents. What are the different types of detergents? That is important. Different types of detergents. These detergents are classified into three types on the basis of charge and overall charge over them. So one is called anionic detergent. Anionic detergent. Anionic part is responsible for froth formation, lather formation, and it is involved in the cleansing action. That's why it is called anionic detergent. And its example, it was just written CH3, CH2, 11. Here is benzene ring, SO3, and this anionic part is responsible for cleansing action. That's why it is called anionic detergent. And sulfate and so many other forms are the anionic detergents. Cationic detergents, they are having the same property, only some slight difference there. But here this anionic part is responsible for the cleansing action. That's why it is called anionic detergent. That's all. The second type is cationic detergents. Cationic detergents, here the cationic part is responsible for the cleansing action. They are the quaternary salt of ammonium. They are quaternary salts, like here one example, CH3, CH2, 11, nitrogen. Here is CH3, CH3, CH3. This is the cation part. Nitrogen is there. That's why it is called ammonium. And anionic part may be chloride, maybe bromide, maybe acetate, the anionic part. The main thing is, anionic part is responsible for the cleansing action, and they are antibacterial, they are antimicrobial. They are used at specific places only, where we have to kill the bacteria also. They are antibacterial in nature. The third type of detergent is neutral. They are also unique, they are also specific. Neutral detergents. Here there is no overall charge, there is no charge, even positive negative charges are not there. And some polar parts present along with them, which are responsible to join with water by means of hydrogen bond. That polar part make it soluble in water, and they are somewhat different esters of higher fatty acid, like C17, H35, this is one example of neutral detergents. There is no any charge over that. This OH part is a polar part which bind with water. That's why it is soluble in water, being a big molecule also. And this is used for making liquid soaps. It is used for dishwashing purpose. So these are three different type of synthetic detergents. We should remember some formula of the detergents, name of these detergents. What are the advantages of these synthetic detergents? They are able to work in hard water, acidic water, even in very cold water, chilled water also. It is not going to combine with chemicals present in these conditions. That is the advantage, and it has a major disadvantage also. And that is, these chemicals are not biodegradable. They pollute water. They create some environmental problems. That's why while using, we should be careful. Carefully, we have to take their amounts, what is needed. These are the cleansing agents, and these are some classifications. The last thing is, how this cleansing agent going to work against the dirt, especially soap. Soap, its carboxylic part, hydrocarbon part, is going to form micelles with the oil present in the dirt, and this micelle is a small tiny particles come out from the surface of the fabrics. It mixes with water and leaving behind the dust. While cleaning process, dust particles automatically washed out from the fabrics. It means a dirt is the combination of wax, oil and dust. Soaps are able to remove oil or fat in the form of micelles, leaving behind the dust which is washed out from the surface of the cloth. That is the cleansing action. You have studied in the previous classes along with the diagram. That's why I am not taking here. You can understand this. Thank you.